Welcome back, family, to another episode of our 31 Days of Wisdom as we journey through the book of Proverbs. My name is Jeffrey, and I want to welcome you. If this is your first time, your first video catching this, hey, we're just journeying through the book of Proverbs as we've done so for the past 26 days. We've been locked in, and really for two reasons. One, to fall in love with the Word of God, and two, to get wisdom. We know that wisdom will make us better. It will allow us to live lives that are according to the will and the purpose that God has for us. So if that sounds like something that you would want to be a part of and something that is enjoyable to you, I want you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, share this video with others that you think might enjoy this as well. So welcome back for those who've been locked in. Day number 26. Proverbs 26, and today we are in verse 12, and this is what it says. Do you see a man who is wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. Before we get into what this proverb is talking about, I kind of wanted to highlight just a quick chapter summary of what Proverbs 26 is all about. And sometimes it's not as clear for other proverbs, and there are other proverbs where you can clearly see that it's laid out in sections because of the theme that it's talking about. And so in this particular proverb, Proverb 26, you kind of see that first section there addresses the fool. If you read it, you'll see that it mentions the fool over and over and over again, just as you see in verse 12 that we just read. So we know that the fool is this person who lacks wisdom and who rejects the godly wisdom that's given to them. And the second portion is really warnings about laziness, right? That sluggard. It warns them against laziness. And then lastly, that third main section is really about conflict, lying, and it warns about those who disguise hate with their words. And so if you read that, you kind of see it's broken between those three sections. So verse 12, do you see a man who is wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever spoken with somebody, met somebody, had a conversation with somebody, and it didn't matter how much you told them something about something with facts, that person failed to receive it, that they always wanted to be right. They had to be right. And those people, that's the people that Proverbs 26 verse 12 is talking about. You see, there's this saying that goes, intent is prior to content. Intent is prior to content. Meaning my intention or their intention will determine what they find or say regarding something. And when I was thinking about that quote, it reminds me sometimes of how we might approach God, right? Because sometimes when we approach God, whether it's for a first time or maybe we're just not sure in who this God is, we often approach him in the way that we are specific in what we're looking for. So we kind of have this intention that we come with on the things that we want to know about him or seek him out for. And what happens there is that when we seek out only the intentional things that we want, we often miss out on his overall character of who he is. And so in the context of a conversation with somebody, when they have an intention to be right, or they have an intention to, be the wisest person, what happens is they often miss out on everything that conversation has to offer them. So their intent is prior to content. So their intention will always already determine the thing that they're trying to say or the thing that they're trying to find out. And really what that ends up meaning is that, what a person wants to believe is more influential than any facts that they're given, that they're presented with. like that person that you have that conversation with, no matter how much facts you present to that person, in their mind, their intention, they know that they're already right. And so what happens is they fail to receive any wisdom. They fail to receive anything that you've offered them. So they become immune to learning. They become immune to wisdom, to receiving wisdom. And really, they become immune to receiving correction. And we know that the path of wisdom is truth and wisdom. The path of the wise person is truth and wisdom. And so when we fail to receive wisdom and even correction, that is the fool that Proverbs is always talking about. But here it's interesting because the latter half of there, when it says, there is more hope for a fool than for him. Now, this is kind of a clapback because, for Solomon to suggest someone has less hope than a fool, that's kind of brutal because he's given us so much examples of what a fool is. And so to say that for someone who is wise in their own eyes, right? And because that's what the fool is. The fool becomes wise in their own eyes. They lean on their own understanding. They lean on their own knowledge. And so for Solomon to say that person has less hope than a fool, the person who is wise in their own eyes, that's quite a brutal criticism. And so really what this Proverbs is saying overall is that let's not be wise in our own eyes and understanding. Let's be open to receiving wisdom and knowledge, and let's not be wise in our own eyes, because ultimately we deceive not anybody else, but we deceive ourselves. So, do you see a man who is wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. And so thank you, family, for joining me for day number 26 of our 31 days of wisdom. Hey, you don't want to miss the next few days coming up. I got some special things coming up as we wrap up this 31 days. So if you're not subscribed, click that subscribe button, tune in, and I can't wait for you guys to see what is to come. So thank you, fam, for joining me today, and I'll catch you guys here on day number 27 for our 31 days of wisdom. God bless you.